This right here is a gigantic country called Malta, capable of completely decimating any opponent it goes against. And in the next few minutes, you will learn exactly how to turn almost any tiny nation from a completely small and utterly feudal tourist destination into a huge powerhouse, with the capability of extracting people's tears while you burn their entire country alive. But you better promise to listen closely, otherwise you will get shattered by USA again and still wonder why you keep losing. If you're not here to take your next gameplay to the next level, then you can go back to watching better tutorials. So if you want to improve your chances of getting number 1 on the world rank as tiny nations like Malta, Gibraltar, any other small country, this will help you tremendously. You start by picking your country. Immediately, before anything else, create at least one electronic factory. And research on technology, in order to gain more research points for anything you want. Next, justify on 2 countries, one that is close in proximity and another one that is somewhere in another continent. The reason we're doing this is because people will usually target small nations, if they notice that it's a player. So expanding in places like West Africa will allow you to increase your landmass behind the scenes while also gaining resources. The best part about this trick is that if you ever lose your mainland, your enemy will have to travel through an entire ocean to catch you, giving time for you to create a strong army and navy. However, as intelligent and beautiful as this trick may seem, there's a huge problem with it, which I will talk about later. For now, you should create steel, motor, fertilizer, and civilian factories in your mainland. You can attain the money to build these factories by selling your electronics, setting taxation to maximum, and trying to puppet everyone in your server. Yes, you heard that. As dumb as it may sound, some players are willing to become your puppet state and give their rights up to you. Or they just thought you were trying to ally them and clicked accept anyway. If a superpower like USA, China, Brazil, or India accepts this completely free and fair offer, then expect to become the next top G, earning millions upon millions of dollars every 5 days, basically profiting from illiterate people. But use this with caution. Not only will this expose the fact that you're a player, but it might also lead to resentment and hate in other players. And you already know what that means. So, the basic idea is that you create and sell electronics from your mainland in order to migrate into another continent and build your empire there. But, what if someone decides to attack you before you can even make it? That would mean you need to defend against a nation that is probably already stronger than your small and fragile country. It's possible, but not easy. Your first priority should be getting money and manpower to fund your military. If you have square cities, then you should attain steel and motor parts to create tanks. Create artillery, aircraft, and navy if you can afford them. These will deal extra damage to enemy units before your troops contact them. Your chance for survival is usually based on how many brain cells your opponent has, but you must try your best to delay your opponent's advance so that you have time to expand and develop in another remote location, so that even if your enemy takes your mainland, they will still have to move their troops through the ocean and risk death by submarines if they want to end the war. So keep expanding and stealing money from other countries in order to improve your economy and defense so that you can build up the strength to either force your enemy to white peace or completely demolish them with your newfound power, which will more than likely disgrace them and display your ability to shatter anyone you please. And just to make things better, a new update has been released, which added a whole lot of new features that basically makes it easier for countries to create and harvest more research, money, manpower, and anything else that comes to mind. One way this can be achieved is through the use of leaders, which are accessed in the country section. The game will then give you a variety of political leaders that provide your nation different buffs, such as tax income, manpower increase, research output, political power gain, and more, which will significantly increase the capabilities of your little country and give you a higher chance of surviving anyone that decides to challenge you. If you're lucky enough, you will find some special leaders that become stronger if you agree with their ideology. And by using the earlier money-making methods alongside a tax income leader, you can easily set everything in the economic laws section to maximum, since they are less expensive for small nations. But if the costs are too much for you to handle, then you should reduce some of them so you don't end up being 2 billion in debt begging everyone in the server for money. If you don't want this to be you, then you should watch this example gameplay, showing the exact steps that turn Malta from the weakest country in the server to an absolute beast, ready to deviously dominate any trace of life that you see in any server. So I started the game by picking Malta, enabling the improved infrastructure policy to make buildings build faster, and created an electronics factory. I then researched in technology, in order to gain more research points sometime in the future. At this point, Your friends may be trying to convince you to do conventional garbage like invading your closest country first. In this case, Tunisia and Libya. But trust me, this doesn't usually end well. Instead, I decided to migrate my troops into West Africa and peacefully expand. After selling my electronics, I realized that my soul deeply desires another free source of money. Oh look, a puppet button. Using my newfound income, I decided to create steel, motor, electronic, and fertilizer factories in preparation to the civilian factories I will build in the future, and also increase spendings for literally everything. Everything is cheap once you're rich. But after only reaching a mere fraction of Malta's potential, the Czechs were not happy. After showing their massive discontent to my mere existence, they forgot about one slight problem. Yeah, you really gotta get your priorities straight. And your priority right now should be liking and subscribing, so you can brag to everyone that you watched my videos before 5,000 subscribers. At this point, the Maltese finally gained the strength to completely integrate Libya into my territory and kickstart the creation of the Maltese Empire. I then proceeded to expand my territory, develop my cities, and sell my consumer goods to as much countries as humanly possible in order to reach the grand treasury of $1 billion. This newfound money was used to advance my military and technological capabilities, which was used to expand Malta to great lengths. At this point, you can make an argument that Malta is African. However, as much as I was successfully expanding, there was an even greater threat looming. The Frankish Empire. After starting out as a normal Germany, they slowly expanded and took over all of Europe, something that these two couldn't do. Although I had the uncontrollable urge to declare war on them and attempt to completely demolish them, I knew that I still needed time. Let's see if he will accept my alliance. Terrible idea, Germany. After this, I went on and proceeded to create the largest army known to man, larger than the amount of you that actually subscribe. I then trained them for days on end to compete on these men to sustain the harsh European conditions and to kill any Frankish soldier in sight. After all of this, the Maltese army was ready to kick some Frankish butt. What? They left? That's not very climatic. We're still destroying the Frankish Empire anyway.
That Malta player. He transformed himself from one of the smallest and most obscure of countries into a global world power, one that can destroy every other major power. Maybe I can do it too. Maybe I can be as great as him. Even better, I could decimate him. Alright, now that I've finally gained some strength, I should definitely take Malta's spot as #1 in the world rank.
Nice plan, Mughal Empire. But you forgot one small thing. I've already created an incredibly questionable amount of bombers and fighters.
What?
And say hello to my nuclear silo.
Bro, this isn't fair. Wait please, 1 second.
And on this day, I became Malta, the destroyer of worlds.